Hey guys, Dr. Sean here. Well, I got asked a question this week. It says, Doc, what do you think about fasting and the use of electrolytes and salts and all these things? Should we use them? Should we not use them? Why would you use them? First things first, fasting's wonderful when it's done properly and you understand why you're doing it. If you know the kind of ins and outs, the why you're fasting and how it works and all of the benefits to it, it can have amazing effects on the body. I've used it in practice for 2 decades. But there's a caveat. Fasting tends to kind of challenge electrolyte balance in the body. And the longer you fast, the more it challenges it. Now, 24 hours, not a big deal, right? If you're doing 12 or 16 short fasts, not a big deal. When you go a day or 2 or 3, now you get into that point where the body's going to need the electrolytes to keep everything balanced. It helps with muscle contraction. It helps the nervous system fire completely. So one of the things we do in practice, we have a product called Selectrolytes. And Selectrolytes is my favorite product of all time. I love this stuff. The gentleman that invented it had a little girl who had terminal cancer. And she was malnourished and had a lot of issues. And so he came up with this product to try and assist her body in fighting back, to try to support immune function, to support normal nerve function. And this is the product he came up with. It's a wonderful balance and blend of salts and electrolytes that the body can utilize very readily. So I use it in practice all the time when I'm doing weight loss with patients, when I have patients who are cramping for no reason, I have patients who are having trouble retaining fluid and water and this imbalance. And most of my patients when they choose to do long fasts. So if someone comes in and they do a long fast, or they're going to do some type of a detoxification, or they're going to do some type of a trying to assist the body to clean out, I'll use the Selectrolyte product that we have in practice. I love it. It's one of my favorite. It works incredibly well at restoring normal body function and rebalancing all those minerals. So when push comes to shove, always think the human body is very much like a car battery. Right, we've got this watery fluid inside. There's all these little ions floating around inside there, and there's a metal plate at the end, and they hit that thing, and bang, you get energy. Well, that's kind of how we work, right? And I remember when I was a kid, my dad would sit there with a screwdriver, and he'd pop the top off and put water in the battery to make it run a little while longer. Well, here we are. We're 80 to 90% water, depending on the authority. We're loaded with all these minerals and calcium, guys. The Ca, it's got little pluses on the end of it. Magnesium has a plus. Chlorides have a minus. Those are charges, just like a battery. When you turn it, it's got a plus and a minus, a positive and a negative pole. And so when you work with those things, they get together and they create energy. And your nervous system functions off this energy. So if you're going to be fasting, I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful thing. Try to do it with someone that really understands it and why you do it and how it works. A generic catch-all, you may not get the benefits you want. But if you're going to do it for any prolonged period of time, say, for example, you're doing it 2 days or 3 days, which I use a lot in practice with patients. If you do a 3-day fast once every 6 months, just to kind of rattle the cage and clean things out, I would highly recommend at that point, then you want to put electrolytes back in. So it's a great question. I'm glad someone asked that. You can do it with salt. It's a little trickier to do. You have to be careful, and you got to find ones that have all the minerals that you're after. The Selectrolyte is the best balance I ever found, and it's a great, great product. I'm Dr. Sean, the Robin Hood Healthcare.